about to jump on that ginormous spaceship. You wanna come?
So, Stellaris Lithoids has been officially announced, and it's been a while since we had one of the species packs rock up. Well, in this particular case, literally rock up. Because, we've had Plantoids, which is arguably the very first expansion for Stellaris, and which was a species pack, which is a little bit expensive considering we only got a portrait pack, as well as a bunch of ship. Then, of course, Humanoids, which was a portrait pack with also a bunch of ships and a bunch of music, and now Lithoids, rock people. Now this time around, things seem to be a little bit more interesting. It looks like Paradox is finally settling on a kind of portrait species pack approach that they're happy with, and it really adds a whole bunch of cool stuff. First of all, we got 15 new portraits of Lithoids, as well as a singular Lithoid robot for those of you who are so into synthetic dawn or ascensions and stuff like that. So that is pretty cool, and they all look pretty sexy, not gonna lie. It's like when I think about rock people are made out of crystals or rocks. This is pretty much what I was expecting, so that's pretty much on point, and it's something that people have been asking for a while. Then, of course, there is the voice pack that comes with it, the Advisor, 93 lines of voices that are...
Shields, rocks, mountainsides, lend me your ears. Rubble it in, why don't you?
Very punny. If you have to imagine something, it's Tiny meets Optimus Prime. Personally, I'd hope that they would have gotten a Waika Waititi or similar approach there with Korg from the Marvel Universe, but we can't have everything, of course, and the entire thing is filled with puns, and that is perfectly fine as well. Then, of course, there is the new mineral-based ship models, and I gotta say, they look absolutely sick. I'm not gonna lie, there's been a lot of models in the game that are relatively basic. The standard mammalian models, for instance, aren't all that great, and the reptilian ones are very blocky, but these things, not aside from being completely asymmetrical on almost every single model, are incredibly sexy. And of course, every single model has their own little subsections that gel perfectly with all the other ones, and it works incredibly well. I'm really hoping that we're going to see more model packs in the future, because the ship models are great, and the more we have of them, the better. Now, the following is something that hasn't really been added to any of the species packs, and that is, of course, the unique mechanics for Lithoid empires. Now, what does that translate to? Well, basically what that translates to is that Lithoids will have a series of unique traits. Now, one of them is automatically cooked in. You can't really change it, and it basically means that you will get increased habitability, okay, a reduction in pop growth speed, alright, that's fine, and a bunch of other stuff. And what is that other bunch of stuff? Well, it basically means that they are, and to quote the developers, they poop minerals. And by minerals, I mean strategic resources. They have the opportunity to create, motes, crystals, and gases that literally shed off of their skin, and that is 0.1 per pop. So if you want to get a 1.0 boost in any of these strategic resources, you need at least 100 pops in order to make this worthwhile. But then again, if you're working with large empires, or at least during the mid-game, this is not going to be too difficult. In addition to that, this is incredibly powerful together with syncretic evolution. If you can have two Lithoid species, one that, for instance, secretes gases and one of them that secretes crystals, you're going to have a very easy time upgrading your buildings to, let's say, research labs, or managing to get those consumer goods out of the way, because obviously that is a problem. And considering these rocks also live a lot longer, plus 40 years, if you add the fleeting trait on top of that, you can min-max things quite easily. Now, the shedding of special resources, the particular traits, they do not gel with each other. You can't biologically engineer them together and have multiples of them, which is why the syncretic evolution approach works really well. In addition, if you decide to go for a full-on cyborg approach, oh yes, you can have cyborg rock people. It gets even more crazier because of the bonuses that cybernetics gives you as well. But yeah, overall, Lithoids is a very interesting little pack that adds new gameplay, even though one could say it's a little bit minimal. If they get perks, for instance, you'll get minerals instead of food, so that is nice. They have a similar approach as other species, where if on your home world, normally you would have slums as a tile blocker and you remove them, you will get a free pop. In this particular case, there are 4 tiles or blockers that spawn on your home world, and if you remove them for 1,000 minerals, oh yes, 1,000 minerals, you will get a free lithoid. You can do that 4 times. And considering the reduction in their growth speed, it kind of makes sense, and piling up minerals is relatively easy. Now, they also consume minerals, which can be problematic, but considering their high habitability, it means that they can basically colonize any planet. So playing tall with these guys should totally be possible, like a medium-style approach, maybe like Everesting, where you first go a little bit tall and then wide. That's totally possible as well, so that's something you want to keep in mind. But yeah, Lithoids, very interesting little expansion. So Lithoids will come out on October 24th, 2019 for about €7.99 and or a local equivalent. And if you're one of those people that are like, hey, I want to put a little bit more love into my game in the way that it looks, whether or not we're a big fan of plantoids or humanoids, and this is probably something you want to get. Besides, the price point is about the same as lunch during one day. So, in all honesty, it's for me, it's pretty much a very simple, just do it. It's easy. We're going to go wrap this one up here. I'm going to be talking about federations very soon. I hope that you're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, take good care of yourself. And as always, each other.